Welcome to Balls and Brews. Cheers, boys.
Cheers.
Cheers, gents.
That's nice. What are we drinking?
Well, welcome to Pod 70. This is Mortal Bloom by our friends at Founders, baby.
It's tasty.
Yeah, it's very good. It's a hazy IPA, and I would say even though it looks more West Coasty,
Right.
but definitely
There's definitely that haze.
taste to it, if you
yes.
will. Yes, the unfilteredness, if you will. 6.2.
Oh, nice.
And they're out of Grand Rapids, Michigan.
That's some easy drinking.
Yeah, for a 6-2er.
Trev, he didn't bring us no aider.
No later this time.
Yeah, well, I mean, we can always find some time for an Imperial here and there.
It's tasty though. I really like it. I like that it does have some of those hazy qualities. Then it's not just a West Coast, because when you first pour, it does look straight West Coast.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it definitely gives off more of that crisp golden color. So,
But I like that combination too, because you get some of that crisp as well
right.
to go with that haze.
Founders, just for everybody listening, is a really well-rounded brewery. They do a lot of good beers. We've had several on from the KBS to the Old Dirty Bastards to the Backwoods Bastards.
They got some premium beers for sure.
Yeah, no, they do it well up there. So shout out. Michigan's another state that's got a lot of beer going on that you wouldn't necessarily think about, but it's there. So yeah, shout out to Founders. Z, you wanted me to ask you about Tentor, sir.
Yes.
I'm very curious, and then you didn't give me any insight.
I had a delicious stout, beer freckles.
Beer freckles.
It wasn't like a chocolate or anything like that, but it wasn't named chocolate or but it was just a really good stout.
Okay.
Like a standard stout.
Sure.
It was very smooth.
So it wasn't like a pastry stout. It wasn't sweet.
It wasn't
Creamy.
sweet. Yeah, it was a little creamy.
Okay.
So it was good. It was just a really good stout.
Nice.
Like it didn't have I loved our churros and our peanut butters and all our different flavored ones, but this was just a solid,
straightforward
stout.
Nice,
Yeah,
malty, little roasty.
Yep. And then I had their
Classics.
tropical IPA with undertones of coconut, banana, tropical. Yeah, it was that one. It was tasty.
And did you get any of those notes?
Not a little bit more of the
I hate
coconut,
labels.
little bit of the coconut-ish, but no, it was sweet. Like it was a hazy.
Sure,
it looked hazy.
Okay.
It was a hazy.
more juicy.
Yeah,
nice.
It was a hazy, but I didn't get the banana or the coconut too much.
Banana is such a powerful flavor.
It is, and I think sometimes they just throw buzzwords, right? I don't even know if it
was good.
You know what I'm saying?
It was a tasty brewski, but I don't know. But then the gal. Said, the bartender, she said she loves doing a half and half
with
of the honey blonde and their brown, or is it amber? With their amber.
An amber and
I tasted it. She gave us a taster, and it was delicious. Dude,
that's a combo.
She made another crazy shot with their because Tentor has a jalapeno vodka with guava juice and something else, and it was outstanding.
Vodka, huh? You drink the vodka?
Vodka,
okay? Yeah,
vodka's easier to live on, living on the whiskey. But she gave us a little taster of that too, as she was making it for somebody else. But she was a sweet bartender. But it would the beer freckles good. The IPA was good. I do wish it would have just said tropical and not said banana.
Oh, that fancy shit.
I don't know if I really got. I mean, maybe it might have. I would have had to really take a time on it. I wasn't in the taking time mood. I was in the drinking mood.
Sometimes you're thirsty, man.
But that was really good. And then from there, we went to Royce. Nice. I had a fucking smashing burger there. Crushed them and the fries, whole thing. Watched some baseball playoffs, and then from there we. I think we went and got one more drink. Yeah, we went and got one more drink at Bighorn, and I don't remember what I had there. I don't know if I had just a Modi or if I had...
Man, I have found a real solid lane for that when I'm out and about.
Dude,
and that's the
going.
cheap on-tap beer for $5, and it's a 5%er. Throw me a Modi with a lime,
because it keeps you going.
Sure.
I don't need to be smashing all these drinks.
7ers, 8ers,
Yeah, and then Thursday night I crushed between Keel and Bricky's. I think I had about 10 or 11 Guinnesses and had an amazing burger. And dude, the potato salad at fucking Bricky's is off.
You just been mashing on some burgers this week, huh?
I mean,
yeah. So that was. We'll talk about the game later.
That's good sports food.
It is.
I
did watch. epic games at Bricky's. Got the end of the Tigers Guardians game for Game 4. Watch the Yankees Royals. Yankees close out, and then obviously your guys' game, which we'll touch on a little bit. But yeah, that's what I've been eating and drinking.
During that football game, I did split both Left for Red, which is a classic from Lead
Dog. Had it on the pod.
Oh yeah, and then their bourbon barrel aged stout that my pops had been sitting on for a minute. I've been biting my time on that one because I knew he was going to share it with me, but he's like, let's do the Lead Dog. And I was like, finally. And it was everything Zach loves in a barrel-aged beer. That sucker was heavy. It tasted like whiskey right off the rip. Like it was a hot, and then it settled, but my goodness, that first couple of sips were like, it was a 10%. So, yeah. There's your barrel aged for you.
I'd rather just drink a whiskey.
I know, which it blows my mind though that really, dude, I like a good barrel aged beer. I really do.
I love beer and I love whiskey, but
I don't.
The combination, it's not like I haven't found the one that I'm like, yes, this is perfect.
I agree, T. I love whiskey. I drink a lot of different whiskeys, and I do not like drinking barrel aged.
Do you remember that one that I brought to you and Josh up at your house? It was a barrel-aged beer with ancho chilies and cocoa nibs, and
I think so.
It was really fucking
that
good.
Might have been the
it was
best
only
one.
like 9%, and also had that little cinnamon. It had that little cinnamony flavor to it too. No,
that sounds like
it was amazing
kind of beer.
I forget it was. What was the brewery? I bought one and drank it to myself, and it was so good I went out and bought another one because I was like, they gotta try this. There's nothing like finding a good bomber like that. I think that's the most important thing when it comes to like beer drinking is not just settling for like grocery store beer. Not that I don't mind some grocery store beer every now and again. We just spoke on like Modelo's and everything, but like expand your horizons, y'all. There's so much beer out there.
Dude. Talking about expanding horizons, just a quick little rewind. Talking about the beer blends, like the one that you just had.
I know those are coming out everywhere now.
It's starting. I mean, there's certain ones. I mean, there's always been like a black and tan, but that's more separated.
And then the snake bites where you put the cider in with with the beer. That's a good one. But if you think about, those are both like Irish. You know what I'm saying? Those aren't like
American.
Normal days. Like you're in a normal bar type. Those are like Irish. Like kind of
you
drinks,
don't find black and tans everywhere, not at all.
I mean, I had that one from Great Basin, their wild berry with the peanut butter.
Peanut butter and jelly, basically.
People say that's good. They also say that
I don't see how it couldn't
be. From Great Basin to mix the hot one and the raspberry, and the raspberry. Is it the raspberry beer?
Yeah, that would make sense. The raspberry wheat that they have or whatever. Speaking to the combination of two things that you love, I love peppers and I love beer, but I don't like spicy beer. I don't like that. Like I know that was kind of like a thing. Like there's habanero beers. And I don't want it spicy. Again, really.
That's a combination I like, so I try them, but I haven't found the one that I'm like crazy about. Man,
I had my glasses on my hat the whole time. You couldn't see the keel label.
Oh, whoops. But I mean, are there any other ones that you can think of right now?
That's all off the top of my head. I mean, you can always mix.
Yeah, sure. I mean, really, I do.
It's finding, but that's the right mixture is so crucial
when
if you're
it
mixing
comes
different
to beer. For sure.
That's why when she was like the blonde, which we like, and I think we've had on pod,
and
the amber,
honey blonde,
and I wouldn't be surprised if we had the amber on pod too. Mixing those two, and I was like, and then she gave it to me, and I was like, oh yeah, I drink.
I mostly get worried about the consistency of the beer changing. Right, like it's two different brews that have totally different bodies and different heads and things like that. So depending on how you layer them, it can flatten the beer out super quick.
That's why I think picking which beers you use to do that with
critical.
Is crucial.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
I think with wine, blending the right combination, you can get some interesting flavors that can.
I've
be
had
really
some
good.
really good blends from red wines for sure. Like that is definitely a thing that's more common in the wine sphere though. For sure,
it wasn't
blends.
always
really okay. Well, you would be you're deeper in the wine knowledge than I, sir. So
I mean, it really became popular, and now you can find them everywhere. And there's not that with beer yet, but they're
pre-bottled.
Those couple.
What happened?
So before we get in, after Trev finishes, go ahead, Trev. I'll give you some
No, we're good.
No.
So before we jump into college football,
okay. Before we get into sports, though, let me just say that both of us went to the Wolfpack game yesterday.
I was gonna do my fandom.
I was gonna kind of use that to lead into the sports, just because. Hey, I had a couple beers there. I had one of the pack punches.
Dude,
I had some Lagunitas.
Dude, those pack punches, dude, 9%,
Yes.
bro. I actually had the lemon. I had the lemonade.
You had the lemonade?
The Tentor
lavender lemonade.
I had
I'm a
I haven't
huge
had
fan.
that one yet.
I'm a huge fan.
It's tasty. But it's 8 too, so it's.
What's the difference
I
between
mean,
8 and
the
9?
pack punch is
Come on.
9. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
I know.
Yeah. I'd see it gets rid of that mint though. I like just a straightforward lemonade.
Yeah.
The little lavender's cool too or whatever. But like,
I was sitting with Johnny and
crush
Joey,
lemonade.
and they both said that Joey doesn't like the pack punch either because of the mint.
because of mint.
Yeah.
Dude. Okay. Speaking of those two boys, how was college game day?
They said that was hella sick, but because of the
Tell me they didn't leave the game.
Well, the group they were with, because they had their parents at 70, and then they had a couple
shit.
ladies that might be
Okay.
pregnant.
Separate
One's
vehicles, please.
one's 8 months, and they said that, dude. And Cal Stadium is like.
Oh, it's on a hill. I
It's
know
walking.
exactly.
You gotta walk.
I know
up
exactly
there.
where it is.
And so
I know
the guy,
exactly
so
where it
once
is.
it got out of hand, the guys were like, "Oh, look," and then it was like, "Okay."
Cal's so funny because like the Berkeley campus, like all of a sudden you're just on it. Like you're in the city of Berkeley, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, this is university territory. There's the stadium. Like there's no checkpoints or like welcome to Berkeley or whatever.
Nah, you just run into
You
it.
just go from a record shop to the university, like within like it's kitty corner of each other. It's pretty crazy.
So before we jump into college, little updates on football because we are doing this at 11, so we're basically almost
11 on
halftime.
Sunday. Sunday.
Packers up 24-7. Colts Titans tied at 10. Texans up on the Patriots 14-7.
Okay.
Which is one of our bets.
Yes, correct.
Buccaneers are losing 24-27.
To Spencer Rattler.
And
Yeah.
there's 1:55 left, and the Bucks have the ball.
Come on.
So that's another one of our bets. We took Bucks, and then this
27 points. They allowed them to put up 27 points in the first half. Wow.
Unanswered.
That's
I
true.
think.
Well, no, because it was 17-0 and then it was 13-7.
We'd have to look.
Fair enough.
And then I was giggling because this is my favorite score. The Browns 10, the Eagles 10. Eagles off a bye. Commanders at 10 and Ravens at 17. Those are all the games in the first. So we'll get more into that in a little bit, but just a little update as we're going in. College football this weekend, epic, boys. I know me and Trev saw an epic game.
Phenomenal.
I did miss some other epics, but with the highlights and everything, every game seemed really close of the big styles.
I watched your
Oregons.
SC game like live, and that was pretty impressive from Penn State to kind of clasp down the way that they did, and like there were a couple of missed opportunities by the SC boys at the end of the game.
Yeah, I didn't get much football watching in between coaching and everything this weekend.
Being dad.
Yeah, but let's start with that Thursday night game. I got some big feelings on this game. One, because I think maybe all three of us picked Utah to win the Big 12.
Yeah, Friday night game. I think. Did you took Arizona? Did anybody take it? We took it.
I took Arizona to make it, but not win.
I originally had them sneaking in like the back end of the 12, and I know.
So did we all have Utah then as the winner of the?
Mm-hmm.
So Utah loses its second game to Arizona State. So they've lost to both Arizona schools. Dude, Utah's offense is anemic. Anemic.
You
Dude, it is. There's nothing going on. Rising is hurt. He can't push off, so every throw is low. Every throw is like falling in the ground. He can't throw the ball downfield.
Isn't he also like 80? Shouldn't he?
He's a seventh-year senior.
Right.
They have another seventh-year senior as a tight end on that too.
But I mean,
Fucking
that's really
Utah,
cost
man.
them because their defense has been solid always. But that offense just can't get going without Rising, and Rising just can't get healthy.
Well, and I guess I thought Isaiah Wilson, the kid at Zach Wilson, played good one game I watched him, but I guess he's thrown like 7 picks in his 3 games. So I was like, why aren't you going to somebody else that can like push the ball? You have no offensive like capabilities with Rising right now. He can't throw the ball, and he's like, it was bad, and then that dumps him. They're probably out unless they end up winning the Big 12. Utah's probably done.
That's finito because they're not one of those blue blood programs that's going to get the benefit of the doubt kind of thing. You know?
Sure.
And their schedules isn't not going to be tough enough to.
Well, and they're the softest. Well, I mean, them and the ACC are pretty actually comparable.
Well, Arizona State also is now 5-1, so they are up there.
A nice lead.
Kansas State got a big dub, which we'll talk about in a minute. So I mean,
over Colorado,
yeah. Let's talk about that now. I mean, they 31-28. They just held off Colorado to get that win. Kansas State was ranked 18th.
Right.
So
Colorado unranked.
they'll move up. I don't know if they've released that yet.
No, not yet. Well, it's like right around this time, I believe, isn't it? Like 1?
Dude, that DJ Giddens ran for 25 carries for $182, boys. They threw the ball all right for 224, but the Kansas State, just bended and didn't break, man. That's all. They they gave up yards because
Solid play.
Shadur threw for freaking 388, but they only ran for fucking like 50. They actually ran for minus 29 yards because Shadur had 59 sacks or 9 rushes, carries. It says it doesn't say sacks like it does in college for minus 50 yards. So they actually had minus 29 yards running the ball. You can't win on minus 29
you can't.
yards.
No, not even close.
And I don't know. I mean, this was that one game, I think, for Colorado. Are you going to finally step up and beat a team that's worth a shit? TC wasn't worth a shit. When they beat TC last year, that was just not a good team.
Well, no, it was one of those pillaged teams, like a lot like Washington was coming into this year, where they had all of the parts to make the run that year, but but then they ended up losing a grip of talent all at once, and once again, that's the kind of program that has to build, right? You get a good recruiting class once every so often, and you got to age those guys, and you get like a really good team once every 3 years or so, right?
Yeah, and Sanders brought in some good players, but that hype was way overblown that first year.
Lord,
after those first couple teams that they bought that weren't
it was at least
good.
A little bit more tempered.
And then it just
this season.
This is more what I expect Colorado to be until you actually build a program if he stays there long enough to do that.
Well, Hunter's gonna. I was gonna say now he's probably gonna bail. His sons are gone.
So
it wouldn't surprise me if this is just literally Daddy Sanders. Just he coached him through their JSU, and then brought him over to Colorado, and he came and not that. And Shadur is a good quarterback. Don't get me wrong. Like he's putting up numbers, but that team is going to fall off again. Once again, not a blue blood enough to survive the loss of when Sanders does leave, because it's inevitable. They're talking about him for the Florida State job, right? The alum down there.
We'll see what happens with that. I'd be pretty disappointed if he left to go Florida State when he kind of talked all that crap about how he's they didn't want him, he'll never go there, and then now he's like, I'm Colorado for life, he said last year, whatever. We'll see.
Yeah, dude, plenty of coaches. What did fucking Musselman say when he was packing his bags for Arkansas? I love Nevada. We're staying in Nevada.
No, his wife said that.
Then literally 2 days later, it's Musselman is now.
But that was his wife said that.
So it's a mouthpiece. It's an extension of him.
Let's jump up to just one, Trev. Texas, Oklahoma, Texas rolls.
That wasn't.
Yeah, that was the flop of the afternoon.
So much for a rivalry there. Yeah.
Texas has just taken so many bigger steps in Oklahoma in recruiting
within the last decade. Big time, big time. They've outpaced their competitor in a lot of those metrics.
Number 2 is probably one of the best games of the night. Number 2, Ohio State loses to number 3 Oregon in Oregon.
Let's go.
That game was insane.
So Oregon's got to go to 2, right?
Yes.
Yeah, because you can't overthrow Texas at this point.
And it wasn't Will Howard was 28 for 35 for 326 and 2 tutties.
I don't see Ohio State falling very far either. Maybe 6, 7.
They ran the ball for 141 yards.
It was a 1-point loss in one of the notoriously hardest college atmospheres to go in and get a win. Autzen Stadium's fucking crazy, dude, and that's the first top 5 matchup they've had in that stadium for 60 years or some shit. It was super, super big.
And Dylan Gabriel numbers are almost the exact same: 23 for 34 for 341 and 2
He's
tutties.
efficient. That kid's good.
And then they ran the ball for a team high 155. Dylan had 4 for 32. Can you see Can you see him making a run into the Heisman?
Yes, but not into the NFL. He does not look like an NFL quarterback to me necessarily, but he could definitely be that top tier college guy. Those are 2 very different games when you really get into it. If he was bigger, he lacks arm talent and quick short throws. Like, he's got a good floater and he's got a wobbler for mid-range. It always blows my mind when a guy can throw a better deep ball than a 15-yard ball, right? Like,
I think it's just understanding it's easier to chuck the ball than it is
I guess, but like, he's one of those guys where his deep ball is good, and then everything from 20 in can be a little duckish. And that's where you got to live and die in the NFL. You only get maybe 4 shots downfield throughout a game if you're lucky. Now, sometimes game plans are a little different, but like, you very rarely get those like, all right, dude, we're doing a fucking 50-yard fly route, let's get it.
But that speaks to why he could be a Heisman contender in college, because
absolutely,
looking at the rest of their schedule, that was the toughest game that they were going to play.
Sure.
They'll still have other ranked. They have other ranked games. They play Illinois. They play Michigan. That's the only 2 teams that are left ranked on their schedule. So that he should be able to put up some numbers. He should be able to throw it downfield.
Puts putting Oregon in the top 4. Pretty good looking pick there, doesn't it?
Yeah, like it.
Dude, as I'm scrolling through the top 10, dude, every game in the top 10 other than Clemson, who smashed Wake Forest, and Texas that smashed Oklahoma, was a really good game. Like we already touched on, Penn State 33-30 USC. Georgia has a close one, 41-31 over a shitty Mississippi State team. That should have been a bigger score. Alabama,
2-point win.
2-point win over South Carolina, and they should have lost.
They should have, yeah.
And that one was to tie it up and put that into overtime.
Tennessee has to go into OT to beat a Florida team. LSU ends up beating the number 9 Ole Miss. How far does Ole Miss now fall? Because this is 2 losses.
Dude, yeah, I thought Ole Miss could be their year, and I don't think so now anymore.
Yeah, they're going to be that 2 lot. They might not lose another game all year.
They still could get in, but I don't like them to go far.
I don't know. Any other games? Oh, we got to touch on our boy, I guess.
Which one?
Gentry.
Oh,
from
Boise State,
our Heisman. Dude, 31 carries for 217 and a tutty, along with 3 catches for 20 yards and a tutty.
So 2 tuds and over 240 yards of offense.
Yeah.
Get out of here, dude. The guy's a video game. And have you seen? It's funny. It's going viral on the internet. Check it out about his stance before the play starts. He just literally is just standing back there, hands at his side. He's not bent in any like athletic position. He looks like a regular dude out there, like that's never taken a snap of football. Dude, and then he's gonna run not only around you, but he can run through you, he can run over you. Like, the dude's a very well-rounded talent, but unfortunately, I don't see, if I'm an NFL team, I don't think I'm ever drafting a first-round running back again. Rashad Penny.
Was there anything else you wanted to touch on as far as
Iowa State stays undefeated and Illinois stays undefeated?
Yeah, Illinois was crazy. 50-49 in overtime against Purdue. That game was bonkers too.
Both teams staying undefeated. That's huge for Iowa State.
They're
in the Big 12.
Gotta stay in the hunt. Gotta stay in the hunt.
They're in the Big 12 right now. They might be their clubhouse leader. They're in the
because Oklahoma and Texas left, and they obviously.
So you have Kansas State that's right there, at probably number 2, but they have one loss. So, dude, Iowa State is the leader in the Big 12 clubhouse.
Hey.
Anything you want to touch on, Trev Money?
I just real quick, the Penn State USC. I want to bring it back there. Like,
bring it back now.
I liked what I was seeing from that USC offense. I think they need to use Marks and Joyner more. They had a good ground game plan for that game, and those 2 made the offense flow, I thought, a lot better.
Well, it gets a little pressure off of Moss getting hit all the time.
Exactly, and they were running screens to do that too. The offense looked better. The defense just
you got to do that.
Folded like a lawn.
That's why you got to play good early in the game, so that you can do that kind of shit.
Well, they did play. They started with a big lead. It was like 20-6 at half.
20-3 at half.
Oh man,
20-3 at half.
And everything was looking good, and then they couldn't stop Penn State.
Pitt's undefeated at 6-0 too.
I don't think that means trash though. Like, I don't think Pitt's played anybody, and that ACC is weak as fuck.
Miami's still a leader in clubhouse.
Yeah, dude, that's like Cam Ward's gonna have that team competing for
at this point of the season. Do you like the Big 12 or the ACC better?
I think Miami's Miami's better. So like, if
you think they're the best of all the teams in both of those conferences.
Yes. Yeah, and I don't think I didn't put another ACC team in.
Me either.
I only went with Miami. So I did have 2 Big 12s. I went Arizona and I went Utah. So I fucked on both of those.
God, it's so ridiculous to think of it that they're in the Big 12, but they are. I just keep forgetting that, dude. I keep reminding myself that Huskies, watching the Huskies get whacked by Iowa, fucking big noon ball was not pleasant. It was 40-16.
You knew there was going to be those growing pains, though.
The coaching staff lost a lot of studs.
Yeah, but just the parts of the game that I watched, we were competent, but obviously not like super good. But we can't play on the road, is what it is. All of our losses have been on the road, and all of our wins have been at home. So,
how's your quarterback look?
Shmeh. Not the worst thing I've ever seen, but like
doesn't sound very encouraging though.
Well, that's why I said Shmeh. It'll be his last year. He's a 4th-year transfer, so unless he goes for a 5th-year eligibility, he'll be gone. Will Rogers III. He just makes, he forces throws sometimes is the thing.
Does he have to do that though? I mean,
I don't think so. I don't know, because it's in a different offensive scheme. Our running back he's good, but he's not at the level that Dylan Johnson was last year.
So he's forcing throws before the game's out of hand.
And then he's turning the ball over, and then our defense is kind of left out to dry.
Do you have a big playmaker at one of the skill positions?
Not necessarily. Literally our entire from wide receiver, tight end, running back, all new from last year as far as like starting.
Because of everyone that got drafted.
We had basically no returning stars, even on the offensive line, dude. We worked the transfer portal.
That's why there's not high expectations.
Sure. No, I understand that. And I didn't go into it. I didn't go into last year thinking we were going to make the title game. Like, I knew we were going to be good, and I watched, like, literally every game because we were tearing shit up. And, like, I knew Penix coming off of the year before was a weapon, but I didn't know about how
be that good.
I didn't know how good Odunze was. I didn't know how good Jalen Polk really was. And then that third in Jalen McMillan also fucking started lighting it up when we needed him. Anyway, that's last year's team. But I know this year's team is not I don't think we're going to fall back into mediocrity. So unfortunately, what's going to happen
with all the changes, it's just one of those programs that you're not competitive every year. You got to build that program.
I agreed. We're not like, and
we're in the same position.
We'll always have like one guy on each side of the ball that's like of note, but very rarely do we have like 3 or 4. You know what I mean? Like an Ohio State or a fucking Michigan. Alabama, Georgia.
Alabama's getting some shade thrown pretty fast though at DeBoer, just because of
the way the kid acted on the sideline is one reason, letting it happen, and then your defense is not very good right now. I'll tell you that.
They have not been winning games because of their defense. That is very true.
Let's jump into some MLB.
Dude, the baseball playoffs is hot.
Dude, they've been so good. Like I said, I watched that game the other night, Guardians-Tigers for Game 4, epic game. The Dodgers-Padres game 5 was a really great game. Dude, the Padres went like 22 innings without scoring a run after having that really big explosion in Game 3. Mm-hmm. They went like 23 innings without scoring a run. That is insane. Yeah. So right now in the NL, we get Mets, who are on this fucking hot ride since the first 2 months of the season.
Didn't we had a discussion many months ago now at this point about how the Mets were one of the worst teams
within 2 months in the season.
They had homeboy who like got relegated down to 3A, and he's like, I play for the worst team. And they're like, do you want to clarify your statement? And he's like, no, I said what I said. He's like, holy shit. They cut that bait and then fucking turned it around, dude. Like, I don't know. If there's going to be one New York team, I'm not going to be mad at the Mets. I would so much rather see the Mets do anything than fucking either the Yankees or the Dodgers, for fuck's sake.
We talked about this already.
I would like to. I don't want to see it, but it's going to be hot to see Shohei and Judge in the World Series.
And that's what's going to happen.
That's what everybody. Well, that's what the media wants.
The MLB is going to find a way to make that happen.
I don't think they're going to find a way, Chuck. It's not like it's rigged, dude.
It's going to be. This one is.
I mean, I like watching Shohei and Judge, but I can't root for either one of those teams to win a World Series.
Tutties
Mets and
I would rather
Guardians.
have the Guardians get there.
One of those teams, please give me something. something.
Yeah, no. If we got,
I don't want the Mets.
If
It's
we
gotta
got
be
a
the only
Yankees, the shit thing is I would love to watch the Yankees Dodgers World Series.
It's gonna be hot, dude.
But I would hate the outcome regardless.
Yeah,
like
that's
that's
how I
the
feel.
problem.
All
yeah.
you want to do is just see Shohei and Judge do great
You
shit.
do, yeah. You want to see great players play great for sure,
That's what
especially
you-
in the biggest games.
That's what you. If that's what it is, that's what you want. That's all we're watching for. I want every game to be like 5-4 and 7-game series. So that every game you're sitting there going, oh shit, you know, and then have those two players make an impact.
And then you
makes it
find
even
out
better.
that the winner was cheating the entire time, and they get stripped of the title. So either way,
Sure, why not?
fucking Astros.
Dude.
Yeah, I kind of want it'd be Guardians are the biggest loser right
we
now.
don't have to see them in the fucking AL championship for the first time in 7 years, right? They
Something
made
like
7
that.
straight years, I believe.
But Guardians are the biggest loser. They haven't won since 1949 or something. So they're the last. They're like the new Cubs now.
Come on, Gardos. Let's go.
It's too bad they couldn't get a chip under the Indian moniker, though.
Yeah, with Kenny Lofton and all those.
Those
fools,
were
they
my boys,
good,
David
dude.
Justice, and
They
like
were
I
good,
loved
man.
that team, dude.
NBA season starts 22nd, so look out for us giving our picks on the next pod.
Yeah.
Of you know, just winners, who we think's in the championship, and then maybe a couple MVP
Also,
throwouts.
the ice is off and
started.
running, so let's go Kraken. We opened up the season not the best, but it's okay. 82 games, you know.
But let's go Knights. We did open up the season really good, so
Did you catch any hockey highlights yet, or you watched
I
any
haven't,
hockey?
I haven't really watched too much
yeah,
hockey.
I watched a
itself,
little bit of
so-
the Knights game the other
Nice,
night.
nice.
I was just kind of flipping back and forth between that and what was I flipping back and forth between? Maybe it was that in the baseball game.
I caught some of the highlights from the Sharks game. That #1 overall pick, man, he is the real deal.
Okay, okay.
Dude, he looked. They lost the game, but he had a great game.
There's not very many hockey #1 picks that end up failing.
I was gonna say that's kind of one of those
It's kind of like
sports that
kinda
gets
a
it
sure-
right
a
more
sure,
often.
It's like a for sure thing because you can see how they skate, unless they get hurt. Like you've already seen them busting ass around the ice. It's not like I don't know. I think that it's more of a sure thing in hockey. It sure seems like. Think of all the dudes. That
I
get
would say
taken on.
ratios lend to the numbers lend to that being more accurate in
Yeah.
NHL than any. Even in the NBA, bro, they blow the first overall pick. Of,
MLB does an okay job.
Well, I also think the MLB just understands what they're drafting for, and traditionally, even the first overall pick, it doesn't go directly into the starting lineup. They normally,
No,
do
you-
couple
one or
or
two.
two
Look
or
at-
3A ball kind of thing.
Look at Skeens, man, out there fucking dishing, bro.
So good for the MLB though. It gets what the MLB needs to do and what they've been doing is they're getting
doing a better
younger.
job.
You're getting younger people into your sport. The average age of the MLB viewer and listener like 3 to 4 years ago was like high 50s, low 60s. That's not sustainable.
No.
That means you're not having the next couple of generations underneath them have interest in your sport. If you can continue, you got to work on these fucking City Connect jerseys. I understand what you're
Dude,
trying to
they're
do, but a
fucking
lot of
ugly.
them are fucking gross, dude.
Hideous.
I get what you're doing because that's not the hot thing in the NBA. Different jerseys, different crazy colors, bright, pop. I get it.
But the Red Sox don't wear a yellow jersey.
Well, apparently, so what I read into that, apparently
Yeah, there's
that's their
some-
subway like color, for so it does make sense. City Connect, it does make sense. It's ugly
fucking
by all
stupid.
fucking means, and it doesn't make me think, Boston in yellow.
You know, when I think of Boston, I think of so much hate and good food.
I do
think of the accent.
I do want to continue real quick just with the shout out with the MLB of what you've been doing. You're putting the right superstars forward. You're making good moves when it comes to shortening the game, getting people more interested. This pitch clock is the greatest thing that has ever been introduced to modern baseball as
great.
far as I'm concerned.
I wouldn't be
Like,
surprised if the Mets do get the Dodgers because of the Dodgers starting pitching. The Dodgers starting pitching is subpar.
Well, I didn't pick the Dodgers when we
How
picked
sad.
teams at the beginning of the baseball season because I thought, they needed Shohei to be pitching for that team to take that step. And with the additions that they made, they need a little bit
He's
time to
been
gel, and they've been
slinging
great.
dingers, though, dude.
Yeah, and he steals
That
bases,
guy is
dude.
over there.
Dude, did you
just
see him tag?
doing
Did
it,
you see him
man.
tag the other night from first base?
Oh.
Nobody tags from first base. Dude, he tagged from first base
And
to
got
get
it.
an extra bag at second. That's fucking great baseball. man.
Absolutely.
But then I think the Mets
High
starting
IQ.
pitching has
High
been like
IQ.
on fire. But the Mets hitting, is that can you keep hitting like these crazy good home runs with Lindor and Alonso? Can you keep having all these clutch home runs? Does that ever run out? Does that juice ever run out?
Well, mate, probably yes. Everything
Well,
good ends,
it almost did, because without Shohei, I mean, Shohei had a great first game and then they lost.
talking
Mets
Mets.
now.
Mets.
No, they've had some late inning heroics over the last couple of series to get them. But hey, man, that's what you need. That's what it is. You can't say it's out until it's out, right?
And then the Guardians starting pitching is just going to be legit. I think the Guardians Yankees could be. I think that's definitely full 7.
If all right, let's take personal all out of it. Who's your World Series matchup? Who's actually getting there?
I think it's going to end up being Yankees Dodgers. I think the Mets juice runs out. I just don't. The Mets and Yankees have better lineups. And I had a point I wanted to make. Give me your thing up, and I got a point. I just thought of this. John Smoltz, go for it.
John Smoltz?
No, who do you?
No,
you reminded me something.
Okay.
Who do you? What's your lineup? What do you think? We both think Yankees.
Oh, right. Yeah. No, I definitely, dude. Yes, it's going. I was saying the MLB is going to make a way to happen. It's just naturally those are the best rosters. They have the most overall in the playoffs. Depth of your team matters immensely, and both of these two teams are deep in a lot of really good ways. Except for, like you said, starting pitching is big in the playoffs. But if those bats light up for LA, they're gone.
So we've talked how much we love the baseball playoffs being 3, 5, 7.
Yes,
John
1000%.
Smoltz. And I think John Smoltz is one of the best announcers in all 3 big leagues.
Great pitcher, too.
I love listening to him talk. I love his insights. I love what he says. I think he made a really good point. We want to give these number 1 seeds and number 2 seeds a break, but there's got to be some incentive. All the teams that have to sit take longer time to get going, right? So he said that he thinks the second series should be 7 as well, and it's only 2 extra days because baseball just runs it back and forth. So you're not like you're going like 5 extra days in the NBA. And I was sitting there thinking about it, and all the points he was making, I kind of agreed. Like you had the Yankees take a little bit to get going because they sat for so many days. Every 1 and 2 seed didn't jump out to a very good lead. They took them a while to get going.
I think you just want more baseball.
No, I think it's actually a really good point because you sit there and you don't get going, and then when you saw each team get going, it was like game 3, game 4 that it got going. So if you're going to give the number 1 and 2 seeds an advantage, it should be a 7-game series going into the second.
And if they changed that, it would be better in baseball because of how quickly they play their games.
Because it isn't like they're taking a week to play 2 games.
I would say, and it also is different in the concept of very rarely do you have injuries. Like injuries happen in the MLB, yes. I'm not stupid to it. But it's not like the NFL where you're like, dude, the more time I legitimately get to rest, is probably for the better. I got like 6 guys that need to heal their ankles and their wrists and their knees.
You're maybe hoping one pitcher is going to come back.
Right, yeah. You're maybe getting a fielder or kind of thing. Traditionally, rosters don't get ravaged by injuries the same way that in other sports.
So I thought Johnny Smoltz made a great point and actually kind of liked it. And
so would he keep the wild card at 3 then?
Yeah,
3, 7, 7, 7.
3, 7, 7, 7.
I like 5.
I do, but I
like it.
But I totally understand it because you are the team that's waiting, and it makes a lot of sense.
Okay,
it takes you a little bit to get going. By game 3, you're getting going. Well, you already could be down 2-0 in a 5.
Right.
If you're down 2-0 in a 7, you still have.
But at the same time, I think it boils down to the idea that you you got that seed because you were the best in the regular season or within your division or whatever, and you're already an advanced in a series, right? You don't have to play
get these teams getting their momentum. Like look at how the Mets
you can the argument is sometimes the bye comes at the wrong time, right? Sometimes you got the juice and you're like, I don't want to take a week off. I want to play, So I see the point, and I don't like it because I love the just absolute fluidity of 3, 5, 7, 7. It just works so good. We're already to the championship series, and we've had great baseball, right? So it's hard for me to argue with the platform as they've even just expanded it. It was a 1-game play-in wild card, and then they put that to 3 games, which I love because I think that one game is a little slight, right?
Yeah,
like
I
you
do
play
too.
162 games to play one game. That's fucking crazy.
In a sport that plays a series for the
All
playoffs,
for the regular season too, right? You
Yeah.
play series in the regular
Series.
season.
Every
it
game
does
is a series.
seem, yeah.
Yeah, it made a little to no sense. So MLB, the quality
It's been
effort
really good.
in going. Yeah, viewership is up. I also do want. I heard that in percentages it's like up 7 or 8%, which is not astronomical, but dude, that's really helpful. Like
Yes.
the MLB needs to stop shitting on the city of Oakland.
Well, it's already shitted on. It's gone.
It's gone. So that's not
Is
going to
it?
happen anymore.
Is it gone? Is it not coming back? Never
No,
ever.
Not
If it doesn't go to Vegas, he still has
Yeah.
to.
So what
defy-
happens, right?
Then
Then
they're-
stay in Sacramento.
Well, no, they'll
They
probably
won't be in
it'll
Oakland.
It'll be in Salt Lake or something.
Yeah,
Ugh, golly.
maybe San Antonio.
Maybe San Antonio was another one, but no, they'll.
You already have 3 teams in Texas.
I mean, Texas loves of sports.
Texas loves
they
it.
they pay for them, unlike
They
Oakland.
would. They would. All right. Well, I'll finish up my last little sip here. We're gonna take a break, and then we'll come back with some NFL love in segment 2.
Welcome back to Balls and Brews. Cheers, boys.
Cheers.
Welcome back, guys. Cheers. Pod 70 in the house.
This looks how it tastes. Delicious.
Yeah, that's good. I was a little worried it wasn't have as much red to it.
You know what dog food tastes like? Just like it smells. Delicious. Yeah, so we're drinking Leinenkugel red lager. And it's exactly what you think it is if you know what a red lager is. It drinks at 4.9. They're out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Chippewa, Wisconsin. So Chippewa Falls. So I bet you that's where they're from, and then they got bought out by, I think it's Anheuser or something. So whoever's in Milwaukee for that. But like,
Milwaukee's
shame.
best.
it's more. Oh man, you know you've gone down the rabbit hole too far when you're drinking a fucking Milwaukee's best, bro.
Milwaukee
What
brews
happened?
a lot of beer, but is there one from Milwaukee
is
that's
like
stands
good?
out?
No, not that I can really think of. Not one off the top of my head.
Milwaukee.
Me either.
There probably is if you went there.
Yeah, sure. No, yeah, absolutely. I guarantee you, any city is gonna have like, yeah. You might have to dig a little bit, but it's gonna be there somewhere. Like, I think that America takes great pride in beer these days, and that makes me happy.
So this
Donuts too. Donuts off pod.
Oh,
Get a
dude.
little, you know,
Love that.
acid reflux real quick.
I could eat 2 of those some bitches.
Dude, just two?
I probably can eat 3. I'm not gonna lie.
No, see, one and done. I would have turned down a second.
Oh,
Anyway,
I love
continue.
donuts. So this week in football, Robert Saleh, coach of the Jets, gets fired after their
Axed.
not even like it's not even so they lost,
Right.
but their offense played like shit.
Yeah,
Right,
Rodgers
correct.
threw 3 picks.
Correct.
Robert Saleh's side of the ball defensively is good. They should have
Been
canned Nathan Hackett. And then he gets demoted, and now Todd Downing is calling plays after the other guy takes over.
Yeah, Jeff Ulbrich.
And then
Jeff Ulbrich.
a little more insight. So we say that Woody Johnson had called Aaron Rodgers Sunday night or Monday night and had nothing to talk to him about firing his head coach, and then fired them next day. And Aaron had no idea or didn't have any kind of
Yeah,
say.
nobody
in it.
believes that. Not nobody. You say that to everybody. That's the coach saying, "I'm not leaving," and leaves the next day. Leaves that day. Like nobody believes you.
leaving.
It's
Nobody
obvious.
believes you. There's no way that Woody Johnson didn't. Oh, he just called a check up on me. You know, I got to hit a
And
couple
we're not
times.
going to tell my quarterback that I'm close with that we're thinking about moving on from the head coach. Not
Correct.
at all. Not even a conversation. I just happened to call him the day before.
I mean, I would say the biggest downfall to Solo was that he was
was for reservations.
He was
We were
never
in a
able
restaurant.
to put together a staff.
well,
Like, he is a good coach.
I
but
pulled this up just since you touched on that real
Yeah.
quick. Diana Rossini posted that the Jets spoke to Eric Bieniemy, Cliff Kingsbury, Luke Getzey, Arthur Smith. Solo was searching for an offensive mind, and nothing. I don't know if it was, him not feeling comfortable or, Woody not wanting to change anything, but he was stuck to. What's his
Nathan Hackett.
So
Can't fucking hack it.
Well, I mean,
Because
he
he was
should
a- 'cause he
probably
was-
never be a coordinator ever again.
Because he was the offensive coordinator for the Packers, but it's like being offensive coordinator for Andy Reid or Kyle Shanahan.
Peyton Manning.
you're still the head coach is still calling the plays. Nathaniel Hackett had nothing to do with calling the plays. Matt LaFleur calls all the fucking plays.
Yeah, no, Saleh, I think, unfortunately, also got a raw deal on the fact that he was dealt fucking Zach Wilson, and that was how his tenure started. Like,
yeah, he's a defensive guy. I can't believe that was the guy.
And he rounded that unit into shape, dude. Now they haven't played as good as they did this year so far, but like they were top 5 last year, and they're still like top 12-ish this year. Like they're not awful by any means on that side of the ball.
I think what caused
a little weak in the middle.
Saleh was just those little rubs with Rodgers.
Well, those weird press conferences where he says something, Rodgers doesn't say the little
snap
hug
count is off, that hug where he pushes off.
I agree too.
Like, there was the Egypt trip. There was always, like...
Saleh's kind of said stuff, and then
Saleh was trying to lead the team, and he just couldn't with Rodgers there.
I agree.
And that's what cost him. I like Ulbrich. Like, he was a Niner. I love to have him as our D coordinator if it doesn't work out in New York, because we have some issues there as well. But I don't think we're going to bring back Saleh. He said he wanted to take a year off.
He's got to decompress, dude. New York's a brutal market, too.
I think that's probably best.
He didn't go to the middle of nowhere.
I don't think he gets
went
another
to
head
fucking
coaching
New
job.
York. Not immediately.
I think he goes.
Not immediately.
I think he might be a coordinator before he's a head coach.
He'll have to DC for 2 to 3 years, kind of thing. He'll have to do the Raheem Morris thing.
Brian Flores.
Yeah, exactly. Flores is going to be a hot candidate.
Dude, his defenses are
hot candidate.
Talk about
into
that side of the ball,
season.
dude. They hit Rodgers all day, every day in that
game.
But
I know what your first question as a GM is going to be, Downey, is who you bringing in to coach the offense.
Correct.
Because I know your defense is a monster, but like if you don't have the right guy to coach up a quarterback or who, like you
100%.
Then you don't
about
win.
the pairing.
You can bury a
win.
young talent under a really bad coaching staff, dude, and it sucks for those kids that you watch happen, like it's happening in potentially Jacksonville.
So let's touch on that game first. We'll touch on that. Trev, what was the score of that game today?
So it was that ugly, game dude. Played over in London. So it was the early game.
Early.
Having trouble finding it on ESPN.
It was 35-16.
Yeah, it's all the way at the bottom.
I thought it was, but I don't have it.
I just told you the score. It was 35-16. Yeah,
I appreciate that.
You're welcome. I watched it.
I watched most of it too. That game, Jacksonville has just. Their offensive line play has been better. I think they only got 2 penalties on the O-line.
3 sacks, and I think you're right on the 2 penalties.
But they've had a lot of penalties in general. So
that's coaching. When your team is one of the most penalized teams, it's coaching.
Yes, that's why I was going.
It has
that way.
to be a large. It's a large contributing factor to it.
Well, I think the other large contributing factor is the inconsistency from Trevor Lawrence. Like. He's either missing wide open guys, or when he does hit them on the nail, they'll drop it or something.
Yeah, it's been inconsistency from like the offense.
Today, he missed a couple of throws, yes. He had some bad drops, dude, in the end zone, no less. Now, he threw a couple of bad balls in the red zone, too, but, like, he dotted a couple of guys, like, right in the breadbasket. Brian Thomas Jr. should have had a tud. Like, it went right through his hands, and I was
because the last 2 games, his numbers have been better, but it doesn't show the drops on. You have to really find, like, another site to get the drops. But there's a lot of drops on that team, a lot of penalties offensive line-wise. And their defense just isn't what it should be.
Okay, because I would say it's not. They're losing because of themselves.
Yes.
In the sense of like they are just a bad team.
They shoot themselves in the foot so much.
A team like the Bengals with Joey B, who's putting up MVP numbers and they're still under 500, is like okay, like there's if we can tweak what we're bad at, we're gonna be fine.
That back end of that defense is real awful.
Yeah, they have nobody back there. They didn't realize how much Bates was. They were going to miss Bates.
Do you guys think Doug makes it through the full season?
No. I think, well, it depends. Okay, I think his seat is very hot right now. They're staying over in England.
They can't fire him now.
They got the Patriots coming up that they're playing next. If they lose that game, I think you have to just...
On the way back. Yep, you toss them.
Well, they're not coming back. They're staying over there.
You're staying over, but then if you lose the Patriots, on the way back,
you cannot fire him this week because what are you going to do? You're going to get another coach out there. That's just logistically impossible.
Well, you're bringing in your offensive
or whatever. Yeah, some
defensive,
sort of
special
interim.
teams coach.
Immediately.
But
for sure.
I don't think you can continue having him coach your team if you
'Cause
lose to the Patriots next week.
Look at the way those Eagle teams went with him. He had that really good team when he had Foles and Wentz that year. Then every other team after that seemed like it was really penalized, never got the job done. It seemed like it's like this exact same repeating.
Yep.
I have a question for you, Zach. Do you think there will
Definition of
be
insanity.
some chatter about Antonio Pierce? Where do you fall on him? Because this whole Devontae Adams thing.
Let's
is
save that.
crazy.
Let's save that for. Our
Yeah, I think
fan.
that's too fresh. We'll get to that.
Yeah, let's get that. For our
Okay,
fan.
I didn't. All right, well, no, I'm sorry. Well, then a little foreshadowing.
Next,
people, we're gonna talk about
next team coach that could get fired, which they dumped this game, is Nick Sirianni. Dude, they're up right now, 20-13. They just scored a touchdown, big play to Devontae Smith, not to AJ, you son of a bitch.
Skinny Reaper.
But Nick Sirianni loses this game off a bye to one of the worst teams right now. Deshaun Watson has, let me tell you,
Oh, boy.
dude,
I'm sure it's
88
exciting.
yards
He's so ass.
through the air.
He's so ass, dude.
And you were only up 20-13.
There's no other word I can use for that guy right now. I'm just consistently stuck on that one. There's no redeeming qualities about that
Dude,
guy.
he's
anymore.
he's on the Harden. He's on our shit list for sure.
He's got to be.
He's a standing member.
Yeah, just because he also just plays like
Can we-
booty on top of all of it.
Can we put Machado on the shit list too? I want him to be.
I would feel like I'm impartial, but if you're that stung on him, I'm not against him going up there. I'm a hater, so if we're filling out the roster, I'm all for it. Hey, I bring the wheelbarrow, son.
Oh, as we're talking, deep pass to Jerry Jeudy for 35 yards, so the Browns have already crossed the 50. There's only 7:53 left. Seriously, does Nick Sirianni lose job after a loss? If it's a close win, does he keep it? What's your guys' feelings on this?
If the close one happens, if they eke this one out at home against the Browns, like it's
you think it's game by game after that?
Yeah, absolutely. It is right now, I think, almost. Like, but, okay, clearly if they lose this game, it's going to be in some sort of dramatic, stupid shit fashion, giving up a touchdown lead with 7 minutes left, right? Philly's going to cry for his neck at that point. Like,
Yeah, I don't think he
I've been
makes
saying
it out.
I should say this neck's been gone for a while, dude.
Philly is going to be so loud because every Philly fan I have talked to, both that like Travis is on the Fire Sirianni train. There's this dude at the gym that I work out with that he's Fire Sirianni. Like, Eagles fans are done. Even if they eke this out, there's going to be chatter. The chatter should be, why didn't we blow the Browns
Look
out?
at their fucking roster.
Why didn't we blow the Browns out?
And they're all healthy
Brown
this
came
week.
back.
They've
Devontae
all
came
got
back.
him.
Yeah. No, there's it at home, off the bye.
Off the bye, dude.
You need to have the juice, dude. Like, and a win's a win in the NFL. Don't get me wrong; they're always hard to come by.
But
They'll
not
take
against-
any which way you can get them.
But losing to like the Panthers and the Cleveland Browns, dude, those are like serious detriments.
all the Browns are just, when you get that shit of a quarterback play and you can't beat that. I know that defense is sound, but with all the
They
weapons
haven't been great
you have,
this year, though.
They have not.
They've been like mediocre. Yeah, I saw they're like kind of 15th, 16th in most major metrics, so right in the middle of the pack. But yeah, no, Sirianni will not make it out of this game if they find a way to lose it. I don't think.
Besides your little mention of the Raiders, is there another coach that you find that might be on a hot seat? I'm scrolling through, and I don't know. Those are the names that we already mentioned, I think, are the hottest.
Well, yeah, because I don't think Zach Taylor's in jeopardy in Cincy. I think even though they've been starting slow for the last few years.
Yeah, because
he's
I think
that
I
defense
don't think that
has been an
I
issue.
even don't think that the Cowboys would fire
no.
would fire
Jones
him.
not in season exactly. He might find his way because he's off a contract. He's off the books.
I'll tell you
next
what,
year
though.
Anyway. Tell me what.
Zach
You're
Taylor's
about-
seat. You go 1-5, dude. Your seat's awful hot. I don't know if you get canned during the
If they
season.
lose to the Giants,
dude,
that could be the next.
I know
coach
he's been
on
doing
the
a
hot
lot of
seat.
things, but man, he's 1-5. You got to figure something out. Like,
I don't disagree, but he's also been to a Super Bowl and an AFC
Yes,
championship.
I know.
So it's
Well,
not
so
to
is
say that he
Sir
I
hasn't.
didn't say he was gone. I think his
Johnson.
seat gets a little hot. I think his seat starts getting a little hot. That's all. And the way that he looked at the end of the game last week, that was Nick Sirianni type shit.
Well, yeah, but Sirianni has won 3 of his last 11 games, right? Zach Taylor overall has a better record than that. He took fucking Jake Browning within a game of making the playoffs last year. So, I mean...
that back end of the defense is just god-awful right now. You can't stop anybody.
Yeah.
I'd be up there throwing for
It does that fall on the coach in a way, but he doesn't necessarily make all the contract maneuvers, Like, that's GM material there.
I'd be targeting Dax Hill every fucking play. Every play. Yeah. I'm going for 200 on you, Dax. That's what I'd be telling him.
But I mean, a lot of those times, those guys are linked because they work together. They have to okay each other on who they want to have in.
That is true too. A GM-coach relationship is imperative for sure. Yeah.
So let's touch on some other games that are going on right now. You got the Packers smoking the Cardinals 31-13. There's just out of the fourth quarter, most likely over.
Selly? Roger Selly?
It's supposed to be the T.
Jordan Love's
not supposed to
sure it is.
Jordan Love's throwing for 4 tutties just to throw it out. He does have a pick, but 4 tutties, that's not a bad day.
Not a bad day. It's a great day.
I mean,
I wish Gino threw 4 touchdowns.
Kyler, he hasn't thrown for multiple touchdowns in like a massive amount of games.
No, he had a couple just a couple of weeks ago.
Are you sure? I think he hasn't.
I know he's had like 2 this year for sure. Not 3. I don't think he's had a 3 TD game. I know he's had a 2 TD game.
Other game that's pretty close on is Colts-Titans. Colts are now up 20-17 on the Titans in Tennessee. I think both those the Colts need a fucking quarterback, and it's not Anthony Richardson.
Well, and since you were talking about 4 tutties, just real quick, Caleb Williams threw 4 touchdowns today. So
he had a nice day.
How about that?
Bears starting to come on.
Yeah, they are. They're starting to find their groove a little bit.
It's been a soft schedule, but
that is true.
It's good to get your feet under you now. So when you play a better team,
their schedule does pick up rather quickly.
You're gonna have to get that whole divisions.
I still haven't played the Vikings yet.
Yeah, you're about to start getting those division games. Those ain't gonna be easy in that division.
Dude, when is the shoe gonna drop on Sam Darnold? That's a fucking question.
Well, he didn't have a great game last week, but that was the Jets' defense
got
played
pulled up
really
by
well.
that defense, yeah, for sure. So
and they're on a bye this week, so
still on an undefeated team.
Next game, Patriots, one of our bets, up big, 34-14. Just rolling. Texans up big on the Patriots.
Good. So then, dude, if the Bucks shit this bed, I'm gonna be so pissed.
Well,
where are
we're right
Bucks?
there. We're 31-27.
Okay.
We still got 2:25.
Bucks in front.
Bucks in front.
Hey.
We still have 2:25 in the third, so we still got a lot of time.
Because we got that line at 3.5, right? We got that line at 3.5. I think
it's at 3.
Was it 3? I think it was 3.5. I saw 3.5 this morning. I think.
But yeah, so we need. Bucks just got sacked. It's third and 9 now on the Tampa Bay 34. So you still got a little bit to go.
Okay.
So I mean, both those teams. Dennis Allen was one we thought might get fired, but he's had a pretty good year. I mean, they've been kind of beat up. They've been in some close games.
I would say their losses outside of one haven't looked ugly.
Correct.
And so I mean. We didn't buy into the glitz and glamour through the first 2 weeks. All of us were kind of skeptical of where it was going to come back down to earth.
Rolling against who was their third team?
It was the Eagles.
The Eagles.
It was the Eagles.
It was a really close game there.
Yeah, it was like 15-13. That was a butt ugly game
I look
too.
at it differently, but Tampa Bay, you're right, 3.5.
Yeah, excellent. Okay, come on, baby. Hold on, Bucks. Dude, it'd be dope to hit back-to-back. Check us out on X and Instagram for those picks, man. We've been doing it. We started off cold, and then it was funny. We came together very seriously. We were like, we need to talk about our picks more. And that's what, knock on wood, we've been doing. And, hey, hopefully it puts us in the money again.
Yeah, last week we're close. This week we'll see how it goes.
It's tracking pretty good.
Last game that's on the show, which is probably the best game out of all of them, is Ravens 27 over Commanders at 20. You got Lamar versus Jaden.
Yeah.
Looks like it's 30-20, so they just kicked the field goal. Ravens just kicked the field goal up by 10 with only 6:18 left.
That's it? Damn, that game went quick.
Okay, with 4:33 left before we get to the afternoon games, with 4:33 left in the fourth, the Browns are on the Philly 5 second and goal.
Browns they're about to score maybe.
Yeah. Get 6 here, dude. Tie it up. Nick Sirianni, brother. Where are you at, Nick?
I've never heard somebody push for a guy to get let go so bad.
That guy bothers me. He's on the shit list. He bothers me.
You just are a Sirianni disliker.
I have never been a fan of him.
Oh shoot.
Afternoon games, we got obviously Lions Cowboys, which is the big one. We bet Falcons Panthers. I think. What do we get on that, Trev? 7.
6.
Hey, okay.
Bengals, Giants could be sneaky good. Giants have been playing better, so it'll be interesting to see what they do with no neighbors. Neighbors in this game.
Dude, he's missed back-to-back games because of concussion.
And then he went to a concert.
Well, yeah, that's why he missed, I think, this week, which is... Come on, Rook.
That's a bad look, dude.
It's real bad.
That's a bad look.
And then
Common sense-ish.
we can start the fandom off as Steelers versus Raiders and ask your question there, Charlie.
Well, okay. This is actually a pretty classic AFC rivalry, to be fair.
Correct.
You
huge.
do not like each other. These two teams, even though they're bi-coastal, do not like each other.
There have a lot of big matchups. A lot of big matchups
over the years.
histories.
Absolutely. Just two really tough, known for the trenches, eating people's lunches kind of defenses, slobber knocker games, right? Very, very physical. But anyway, I think that it's very smart, that the Steelers are still riding Justin Fields. I don't think you break that up yet. I think that there's been enough there to not,
He wasn't very good last game.
He was not very good last game. I do agree with that.
He looked like old Justin Fields.
Okay, sure. I don't disagree with that, but don't you think he's, allotted a little bit of
I'm just saying last
brevity.
Last week was his not good.
If they lose to the Raiders, sure.
Move on to
the door that you could have had closed is definitely open. I mean, it depends on the practice. I'll tell you from a guy who's watched pretty much every Russell Wilson snap, he doesn't have what he once had. Justin Fields at least provides the escapability and the explosiveness. Is his arm great? Not always.
Better with their kind of young offensive line right now.
It's rough. You need a guy who can get out of that pocket, and Russ has no escapability anymore. He tries that little turnaround now, and he's too slow, and he gets gobbled up, dude. But if the Steelers do win this game and beat the Raiders, the question is, does the chatter around Antonio Pierce get hot because of the whole thing with Devontae? And then Max Crosby came out and said, if you're trading Devontae, you're trading me. I don't think that's true.
It wasn't.
I appreciate that he's got his boys back or whatever.
No, he can't. Yeah, he didn't.
I'm sure
he said he's staying.
Yeah, no, Max Crosby is not a stupid man, and he understands what that organization has done for him, and he's done for them. He's a day oneer there. You know what I mean? So,
4th and goal on the Philly 13 in the Cleveland Philly game. They've had 2 back-to-back false starts.
Oh no!
Oh my Lord!
Fumble
You're so
in the
ass.
bag.
You're so ass, Cleveland. You are just terrible.
I don't think that. I don't think he gets fired midseason, but I do think if it keeps going with these up and down games. We came out hot, pick 6, turns the whole game around, and we don't do anything the rest of the game. Can't make any adjustments in the second half. I think that then at that point you're moving on. And I hope you go with, maybe you'll go get Bobby, what's his name from the Texans, or try to offer Ben Johnson the boot. I mean, you need an field goal. They kicked the field goal, so they're down.
Ben Johnson's gotta make that leap this year, right? Regardless of what happens in Detroit,
he's got to make that leap, and that's you got to go offense. Offensive-minded coaches, look what they're doing. It's still they're the ones that are winning.
Well, I think Pierce, like you said, isn't under pressure during the season because I think he hasn't lost the team. I think the team's behind him. The Devontae Adams thing is what it is. If you're not going to compete, it makes kind of more sense to get that.
Now there's rumors that maybe he doesn't want to go because he actually was a big contributor to Aiden O'Connell playing the season. And there was another report that came out.
O'Connell's starting today.
And there was another report that came out that a lot of people in the building thought Aiden O'Connell won the fucking coaching or won the job through practices and preseason, and I thought the same thing.
This game is really important for all of that.
If he then it also makes who made the decision. Was it Pierce's decision? Whose decision was it to start Minshew? Because then it makes whoever. Because I thought Aiden looked better in the preseason too.
I think overall the best way that I saw it was that Minshew's ceiling was just higher because he is willing to take those shots. O'Connell doesn't necessarily strike fear into your deep outside the numbers throw, right? He's really good. He's a tactician or a technician. He's good over the middle. He's good.
He might be a tactician.
But that's where his strengths are. And if you can find a way to string together 10-play, 12-play drives, then the Raiders' offense will be successful. But Minshew will huck that fucker. Because it's not always the best, result.
I think I said last week, People have been calling for Luke Getsy, and I said I don't think it's Luke Getsy. The game I watched a lot of when I didn't have other shit going on, there was a lot of open receivers. Almost every time the guys were going open,
he missed
and
him,
he missed it in the fucking dirt over their fucking heads.
He had a bad completion percentage before this game. I was getting benched.
Gonna ask you about that because Getsy's been getting a lot of heat. I think Pierce is tied to him because of that decision to bring him in. I think
Mark Davis fucked up and Tom Telesco fucked up and not giving Cliff Kingsbury just one more year.
Yeah. All right. Pouring up our new brew.
That's true, because you had him. Yeah, I got it. You
don't do it.
You did offer. He was in your pocket,
and we were going to have him, and he wanted one more year, and we wouldn't give it. And then Washington gave him that next year. Yeah. And I think Cliff is one of those coordinators that's a coordinator. I hope he doesn't take a head coaching job.
I bet you he's stoked to have Jaden Daniels, though.
Well, why not just keep Jaden? Why not just be the dude like a Steve Spagnuolo? Right? Why not just be the coordinator that stays the coordinator? You're not a head coach. Just stay the coordinator. Do the guy that gets in the room and just is killing it, drawing up all these plays. You don't have to go be a head coach. You can just be a really good coordinator.
You sure can.
But I mean, there's only so many of those opportunities, and if someone's going to give you that,
but maybe that's not maybe you don't even want it.
Dude, the smartest thing that the smartest thing that a human being can ever do in coaching is raise up to the ranks of head coach and then suck ass in your first year and get fired and have 3 guaranteed years on the back end for $20 million.
Because then you're still getting paid.
Right, because then you can double dip back into your coordinator position next year and get double paid.
But you're probably getting a good amount of money. If you're top coordinator, dude, you're getting a good amount of
money. But I'm just saying, go and dip your toe into that head coaching, and if you suck, who cares? Because then you're still getting money, bro.
Who cares? Sucking sucks.
Sucking does suck, but making $20 million a year to sit at home doesn't sound so bad, does it?
Spencer Rattler, deep pass intended for Shaheed, intercepted by McCollum at the 42. Tampa Bay has the ball just starting the fourth quarter.
It's good for our bets, boys.
We need a touchdown.
Looking good.
Need a touchdown.
Some insurance run or some insurance.
A couple more scores before you guys jump in. The Cardinals did kick a field goal. It's still 34-13. Other than that, all scores are the same. Titans got the ball with 5 left. Eagles got the ball with 3 minutes left. It looks like it's 1st and 10, and Commanders have the ball down by 10 with 3:48 left. So Thursday night.
Well, before we jump into that, cheers.
Well, what do we? Yeah, cheers. Good job, buddy.
Yes.
Cheers.
It's breakfast time. We got an oatmeal stout.
Oh yeah.
Yummy.
Oh yeah. Give me the stout. I love them stouts.
That is nice.
Stockyard. From our good friends at Josef Brau Brewing once again.
Dude, Josef Brau's fucking kicking ass. Put
San
them
Jose, man.
They got to make it up in our little thing. They've had some really good beers. That little NCAA Beer Fest 2024.
They're on our list.
Bracketed.
When we take our trip down to Urban Roots, we'll
Dude,
maybe hit up some
gotta get down
Brow.
to Sacramento for that.
Urban Roots. We haven't had an Urban Roots beer on
it's true. Even when I've been at Craft, I haven't necessarily. The only ones I've seen have been the ones that we've had.
And I think the same when I see them at Ben's. I think it's the same Urban Roots.
And it's not that they're bad beers. I would absolutely drink them, but
I bought a couple and taken them home, but we've already had them on pods. Yeah. But those are some of those ones you've got to bring back because you don't see them a lot.
For sure.
Yeah.
As a brewery, man, they were hot for we drank
Mother Earth. We haven't had a lot of Mother Earth lately.
Mother Earth, I saw them, so I went to Pinion the other night. Actually, I'm surprised I didn't mention that during the beer section. I went to Pinion on Tuesday with Travis.
What'd you have?
I ended up having a hazy. I was in the mood for a hazy. It was a local.
What it was called?
It was a local. Pirate something or other. By 10 Parlay. I'd never heard of these guys, but apparently they're a local brewery.
Okay.
Now, I don't know if sometimes when they say local, it doesn't inherently mean Reno.
It could be
Sparks,
Cali.
Yeah, very northern Cali. Very it could be even Gardnerville or somewhere that's technically still northern Nevada too.
Yeah.
But maybe Carson.
It was nice. It was a good little
Carson.
beer.
Our buddies at Tentor.
Very, very.
No, Tentor's in Reno.
I thought they were Carson brew.
No, Tentor's in Reno.
No,
Shoe Tree is Carson.
Carson.
Yep, good call. And then do you guys remember what was the name of that brew? High Sierra. Do you remember High Sierra Brewing out in Carson City?
I think
for a
so,
while?
yeah. Well, Fox is from Carson, too.
Originally. That's a good call.
Fox has started out in Carson, too. Dude, Fox is good, man.
But yeah. Should peep over there here pretty soon, too. All right, so bets are looking good. Thursday night.
Yeah, Thursday night game
was terrible. I don't want to talk about it.
Well, from
that's a very maniacal laugh. We practiced that one off. Paul.
From a third party, the score was 36-24.
Sure was.
In San Fran.
Nope, it was in Seattle.
In Seattle, my bad. From a third party watcher.
Okay.
Very impressed with the play of Brock Purdy. Without having some of like the Christian McCaffrey weapon. Debo had a really good game, but he only had 3 catches. Offensive line didn't block great, which was kind of surprising. Playing against a Seattle defense that had beat up real big on the front, but the offensive line was not good. Still ran for 228 total yards against them, though. Had good pressure on the quarterback, but could not stop a nosebleed on the run. I thought that Seattle's offense, Geno looked not great. He had some good passes. Then there was balls like Minshew in the dirt over the head, and I thought that Geno looked not good at all compared to the rest of the offense. And then they didn't run the ball very good. I thought Seattle ran the ball minimal, like at 52 yards. I thought with 2 running backs that the offensive line didn't do much for the run game. But yeah, very impressed with Purdy. Kind of saw the Geno that we kind of think we see here and there. He's not had his been real sharp. And then offensive line for Niners wasn't good, but offensive line was good running, but not good pass blocking, and defensive line was opposite for Seattle. Good at the pass pressure, but could not stop a nosebleed with the run.
I mean, to kind of piggyback on that,
Geno did throw for 312, but he threw it 52 times.
Yeah, that's a lot of pass attempts.
No, that we didn't even run 52 plays. There's no.
Yeah, he was 30 for 52. And you guys had, he was 30 for 52 for 312, 2 picks, and a tutty.
She had 2 picks.
Damn.
Do you know that? I didn't know we threw 52 times.
I thought so. Because you guys were always trying to come back.
The week after fucking Grubb is saying, yeah, we need to be more balanced. Anyway, do you want to hear the bitter losing side?
No, let's get the winners.
Okay, we'll get the winner first. The winner goes first? Okay.
So to talk about our offensive line, I am so out on our center. Like, he's making bad calls. Like, he's having our line block to the side of the defense the wrong side. It's less defenders coming on that side, and he's sending more blockers to that side of the line. Like, it's been bad, and he, I think, is our worst starting offensive lineman that we have on the field.
Tough.
I'm really looking forward to Feliciano coming back from injury, and I hope we put him at center because I think that could be game-changing for the offensive line going forward. Purdy, 3 touchdowns, no picks. I mean, he leads the NFL, I believe, since 2003 as the only quarterback to do that. I think 2 ahead of Josh Allen is the next quarterback with those kind of numbers. And like Zach was saying, with a depleted offense because of all the injuries, and the injuries just keep stacking. Hufanga come back. He got injured. He's back on IR. Our Malik Mustafa, our rookie who came in and had to pick that game, also got injured. So we're down to our last 2 safeties pretty much.
I thought Ayuk was on the IR because you don't ever see him, but
he's played better. His last week was really when he started playing better. He hadn't played good until then, and then Seattle game he played all right. I don't have his numbers in front of me, but I can pull those up.
I'll pull them up for you, pal. Keep with your thought.
But the offense, like.
He was 2 for 37.
Okay, that's real bad. You got to be better. It's been an embarrassment pretty much after you got paid and you missed that time, and you just have had 1 good game 6 weeks into the season. The hope for the Niners, though, is we didn't shoot ourselves in the foot as much this game, which has been what they did against the Cardinals and against the Rams. And there was opportunity for the Seahawks because of that. The Niners have just been letting teams back in the second half. And finally, I mean, they closed it out. But without Mason, we lost him. So
AC joint injury on his shoulder.
Or
At one point, I was like, "Fuck, the Seahawks might actually come back in this game. The Niners gonna let these motherfuckers back just like they did the last two teams."
I was worried myself because of those injuries, and it was just they were able to hold it down. Though Kittle had a great game, 2 touchdowns. I wanted to play some George Kittle for Chuck when I walked in the door, but my Spotify just wants to play ads and other songs, so I couldn't do that. I was a little bit disappointed about that. You've heard that? Did you hear that song on Receiver though? It's a Travis Scott song. It's 8-5, I think, is what it's called. And
maybe
it's good. It's good. I enjoy it. It was good. But that was the other thing too in previous weeks with the Niners is just besides letting teams back in it is the captains. I think were just. I mean, Fred Warner's been great, but
dude, he's the best linebacker in football.
There's moments
down.
where they're.
He almost had one from Geno.
He
too.
did.
He's been great. He's punching out balls. He's been that's become his thing this season, man. He's causing fumbles. Bosa is not getting the sacks, but he's wrecking havoc. He's getting double teamed like almost all the time because there's no one else on the line that needs a double team.
I'd triple team.
That he's been triple teamed.
We left Stone Force, I thought, on a fucking island. I'll get to the Seahawks take here soon.
I mean, have at it.
Take it away, Charlie.
Yeah, well, it's been a very curious 3 losses. Self-inflicted wounds, a lot of injuries. It's definitely on the defensive line, and now unfortunately in the secondary we were down Reek Woolen, and then we also lost Trey Brown. So we were right along with you when it came to starting injuries. We were really banged up. So getting this technically mini bye is something that can be extremely helpful.
Just real quick,
what you fist pumping for?
Tampa Bay 37, New Orleans 27.
We up 10, boys.
And Eagles did win 2016. Sorry, Charlie.
Why are you sorry and me? You're the one.
Because I cut you off with your...
oh, no, you good. I asked.
Baker's got 4 tutties and 3 picks.
Oh, Jesus.
Damn.
Holy shit,
Okay,
dude. That's a Jameis Winston game right there, buddy.
In a Tampa Bay uniform. They're used to seeing it down there. We were talking about injuries and then you were going to ask me about something.
Well, okay, about your coach, being a defensive coach,
right.
The reason I think he got that job was because of the defense that he's known for.
1,000%.
And they played, when he was in Baltimore, that defense killed us that game that we had in the regular season. And
caused 4 turnovers against Brock Purdy, yeah.
I know you guys are missing some pieces, but I would expect a little bit more out of my defensive coach.
Don't disagree. We also, now he can't go out there. He runs a good scheme. We have blown some tackles. The first 3 weeks, we were making great tackles. We had a very low missed tackle rate. These last 3 weeks, we have been getting really roughed up in the missed tackle department. And whenever you do that, especially against a team like the Niners.
You guys did have a lot of missed tackles.
Especially against one broken tackle and Debo's 20 more yards down the field. One broken tackle and Kittle's 15 yards down the field. Like, you guys
we
live
known for
off
breaking
of that,
tackles.
for sure.
Yeah. We all about that yak.
Yeah, exactly. So that's where we lost the game. And then also Geno made some really critical errors. He wasn't on the same page with Metcalf. Metcalf was getting back into his diva ways, which is never pleasant to see.
Yeah, he was bitching and complaining.
He was
all on the headset too. I saw that.
He was all slunk over on the bench, and he was all sourpussed. And even though we were forcing the ball to him, I don't know what else he fucking wants. But
and did he fumble again?
No, he did not. He missed that fucking touchdown by a toe length.
He got to get his foot down. That's got to be more aware there.
So close.
That's got to be more aware there.
But with that close, that means he tried, bro. You're talking not aware. That's happening within milliseconds, dude.
I don't know.
I
thought he didn't try. I thought he was in.
No, I think he very much tried. He's a big dude, though, too. You're falling away from it. Like, he gave 100% effort on that sense because he wanted the touchdown. And then we had one that was called back on an illegal shift That would have been like a 70-yarder.
If they didn't call that a legal shift, I'd question these refs pretty hard after that muffed punt that should have gone to the Niners.
That was that needs to be spoken on from both directions, and the fact that was one of the worst. The explanation of they didn't have the high def footage is terrible.
No,
it is 2024. How is everything not in 1080p plus 4K HDR?
And how do they
What
see
if that's a game-changing moment?
It was. It could have been. It should have been. Now they still held us to 3 and out, and we punted the ball back, but we flipped the field again, and otherwise they would have just had it right
I'm
there.
saying, what happens if it's like 17-17 at that point with like little time left on the clock?
It could have been
or
for sure.
2017. Like, what happens if there was like
It was,
and you get that shitty explanation.
Is that awful?
There was
NFL.
another play, I believe.
Awful.
Seahawks had over 11 guys in the huddle too, and that no penalty there either. So but
Okay, so we're gonna nitpick that on a 12-point win. Cool, bro.
No, I'm just saying that this officiating was not good. That's all I'm pointing out.
It's been a roller coaster of a season. I don't know what to expect when it comes to how to pull. Like, I don't know what the rally cry is going to be for this team.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask.
It's brand new.
I don't know what changes need to happen.
I don't know where McDonald thinks he needs to shift, because I still love that roster. We need to get healthy. We need to get that D-line back.
Is it just getting healthy?
I mean, honestly, yes. Because
limiting the mistakes.
Well, and then penalties. We've been penalized, and sure, exactly. Tackles. And honestly, coach tackling more, I guess, if you want to put it on McDonald. But his scheme isn't bad. We're in the right positions. We're just blowing tackles. If we get healthy and make tackles, we'll be fine. And then, like, the offense has to find some semblance of Kenny is too good. Kenny Walker is too good not to tote the rock at least 12 to 15 times a game.
Missed him on a play that probably could have gone for a touchdown.
I know. Yeah, I saw it. Yeah, up the sideline. Yeah, your
corner.
No, he didn't throw it to him at all. He didn't even see him. The corner was playing cover 2 flat, and Kenny blew right by him, and there was no safety off the top. He would have had a tud, but I don't know what the line looked like at that point. Right, he could have been under pressure or something. But either way, no. There's still hope, and the thing is, I was just too high on the 3-0 start because it's a 3-0 start, and you're like, fuck, yeah, exactly. So, but it's a long season. We weren't really expected to be contenders. I'm a little nervous to know what we do moving forward. I like Gino, but he can't be the long term.
At some point, you have to draft a quarterback or trade for him.
At some point, we have to dip back into the younger pool of quarterback for sure. So we'll see if and when that takes place. I know we have Sam Howell. Maybe that is the succession plan, as it were.
Well, I think you might give him some time, but I worry that he wouldn't be any better just
we're not playing him this season.
Not right now. He holds onto the ball with your offensive line.
Sure, agreed.
The current status.
No, but
he'd be
I'm not saying like right now. I'm just saying like I think maybe moving forward as Sam Howell's only like 25, I think 24, 25.
Young blood.
Yeah. Overall, I'm a little lost because, like I said, I don't know how to rally behind this coaching regime. I'm not sure what they're gonna do to try to make things better because he's seeing the same things I am. I know that he, as a defensive coach, has to hate giving up 220 fucking 8 yards on the ground. Are you kidding me? That is not something you go into the next day and say, "Good job, boys." Like, so injuries are not. That's an unacceptable amount of yards. 150 at absolute fucking most should be given up in a game. Like.
That also makes me think, I forgot to touch on this when I was talking about my team, but coaching, like Sorensen, he's gotten a long leash because he's new to play calling, but it has not been good on that defensive side. Like, I think Staley might be a better coordinator. I don't like him as a head coach, but I would really consider giving him the play calls.
He had really good defenses.
I kind of want to see it at this point. I know. Again, Sorensen's being fresh that they've given him that long leash, but I'd like to just see it. Let me see what Staley's defense looks like when he's calling the plays.
Your coordinator has kind of been not the best over the last two and a half seasons.
He's been last year was Wilkes, and there was a conflict between him and the staff, and that's why
everybody
he's not there anymore. But also our special teams coach, like it's not
Did
good.
you guys give a kick return?
We've been really bad on special teams.
You guys
this
return
year.
a kick return? That's what I thought.
Yeah, they forced a fumble on one of them, and then we returned it a couple of kicks later.
So yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing our current defensive coordinator move to
Came from the Raiders
special
at one
teams and getting rid of that special teams
Jaguars.
guy and
Yeah, we
giving
traded him
Staley a
to the Jags.
chance. We'll see.
I thought it went the other way around.
No,
I thought it went Jags to Raiders to us.
We had
right?
him, then to you guys, then to us. Oh, no, that's the other guy that we drafted. Yeah.
What?
We drafted that other guy that was like a quarterback to turn receiver, kind of like Chenault. But yeah,
Chenault, okay, he was...
Terrell Pryor?
There's another guy we drafted in the third round with Gruden that was supposed to be like the Chenault kind of guy, but it wasn't him.
Anyway.
Top 25 just dropped.
Oh.
Texas number 1, Oklahoma number 2, Penn State number 3.
Not Oklahoma.
Oregon number 2.
number
Sorry.
There you go.
Texas number 1, Oregon number 2, Penn State 3, Ohio State 4, Georgia 5, Miami 6, Bama 7, LSU 8, Iowa State 9,
Man.
Clemson 10.
Or Ohio State barely falls.
Yeah.
Penn State, I thought could fall a little bit too because of how close that game was. I'm really surprised Georgia's.
Ole Miss goes down to 18, and new to the rankings is Army at 23 and Navy at 25.
Army's still
Both
undefeated.
undefeated.
Both of them are.
Both undefeated.
23 and 25. So
You know, I was listening to like an obscure sports clip saying that this is a freak thing that can happen between those two teams. You ready for this? So they play in the American Conference, right? If they both go undefeated before they meet, they have to play in the American Conference Championship. What happens the week after regular season football ends? The Army-Navy game.
Right.
They'd have to play each other twice in 2 weeks. And one for a championship, one just for the glory of the game.
I mean, sometimes that's the way it works out when you have a conference championship.
How crazy would that be, though? Like, that would be unprecedented. I don't think that's ever happened in college football, where two teams have played consecutively 2 games in a row. Now, this is if they go undefeated, and this is all they meet in the championship, and because they don't play in the regular season, if you will.
Correct.
But then, well, they do, but not until technically after the conference championship. How nuts would that be? I mean,
that'd be fun to see.
I wouldn't watch it. It doesn't.
Well, what?
I'm just saying, like, I just think that concept is crazy. You don't even see that in the NFL, and there are teams you have to play twice a year.
So they're 2 undefeated teams. So is Pitt at 20, Indiana at 16, and BYU at 13.
All of which will not necessarily. I don't think any of them will make a real push or noise as the schedules carry out. BYU is now in where? Where do they play?
They're independent.
Big 12? They're independent?
Yeah. They're like Notre Dame, brother.
Fucking Mormons.
So
doing whatever.
check
the hell
us
they
out
want.
on Instagram and X.
Buzz, Sprout, Spotify for the audio, YouTube's for the pretty faces. Yeah, dude, these beers were all legit. Easy drinkers pretty much through and through. 6.2 was the highest that we had. So mellow morning, transitioning into a chill afternoon. I know we're just going to go watch some football. So.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Catch up with us for Pod 71.
Peace.
Cheers.